A lot of artists come to me wondering where to go with their career. Maybe they've been making music for literally years at this point, and they see their peers blowing up, they see people that they know getting a ton of attention and exposure online, and they're wondering, why can't that be me? I know I've been in that place, artists that I've worked with have been in that place, and the truth is that you can get there. But the game has changed in a lot of key ways, and the things that you have seen work for other people might not work for you, they might not work as well anymore. And so this video is going to be explaining that, so let's get straight into it. When people talk about the big three right now in underground rap, they're usually referring to Netspend, Che, and Osama-san. And it's easy to look at these rappers and see that they've got it all. Netspend's doing modeling for Gucci, Che and Osama-san have been going on massive tours and just dropped huge critically acclaimed albums. But the truth is that where these artists started is drastically different from where they are now. All of these artists started making music and releasing it around 2021 to 2022. Some a little earlier, some a little later. And as you can literally just see in this image, even their visual depictions of themselves, completely different. Where they are right now is not where they started. I mean, all of these artists started making music on BandLab. It was super amateur, and they had to work with it for literally years before they saw any real success, any real blow up, and then eventually it hit. But this video is not just going to be another one telling you to stick with it and keep going, because the truth is that the game has changed since this time. The music world moves really fast, and even though it's only been a few years since 2022, the way that people blow up now, completely different from back then. These artists could rely on people being attracted to the kind of authentic amateur vibe they were bringing back in the day, because things were different back then. The underground scene was just easier to break into. Apps like BandLab and SoundCloud were more dominant than they are now. The general public on apps like TikTok weren't as accustomed to being bombarded with promo and with their entire For You page being filled with 50 different underground rappers trying to promote themselves in every which way. And so blowups were able to happen a lot more naturally, even if the music and image were not really up to par with how they are now. That's how you saw people like Baby Santana and Cash Domi blow up. They were a lot younger than a lot of the guys blowing up now are, and their music sounded a lot more amateur, but that was part of the fun of it. The problem though is that kind of music has just become oversaturated. People are literally not as tolerant to TikToks showing off your new crappy BandLab snippet as they might have been back in 2021. It's just the truth. So now most underground rappers that blow up start from a much more polished and professional place in their image and promotion. So I'll give you two examples. Nine Vicious, for example, dropped well-produced projects and high-quality music videos right from the beginning of his career. Basically from the first song that he dropped and from his first album, Studio Addict, he was dropping super high quality music videos, being seen around high profile people. Obviously some of that was label support, but it just goes to show that the way that artists are breaking out now is different from it was back in the day. Rex V2 is another example of this, right? He's also been making music for a while, but when he started to blow up in mid 2025, he already had a repertoire of tons of high quality music videos. He was already working with a label at that point. And so this isn't necessarily fair. I'm not acting like the music industry has ever been fair, honestly, but it just goes to show that there is not as much room for amateurs that are just getting into the game when it comes to the music industry compared to maybe 5 years ago. And part of that is because the underground has become a lot more commodified. Labels have literally caught on to what is working on social media, and it ends up being things like underground rap. And so a lot of the artists that you're seeing are a lot less homegrown and a lot more label made. So that means that you need to adapt to this changing environment, right? Posting your snippets of your amateur sounding songs is just not going to cut it in 2026. So here's how you ensure success. First of all, the days of relying on luck are truly over. Every artist that you're seeing blow up right now is pushing themselves out there and creating content. They're going for a maximalist approach over a minimalist approach. A minimalist approach can work well for artists who have already established themselves, but if you're not there yet, you can't rely on luck the way that people used to 5 years ago. Second of all, you need to master content creation. Content creation built the attention economy, which music is increasingly running on. And finally, you need to create and refine a consistent and authentic image. This is also super important because you want people to resonate with your artistry as a brand and not just the music that you're putting out. I can actually show you how to do all of this. I have a lot more content available with the link in the description, and you can also work with me there if you'd like to. But if you follow these three general tenets and just have a different approach to music as you might have a few years ago, I can guarantee that you're going to see some more success. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.